Hi everyone, I'm Candy from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you a fruit pillow, the blueberry version. This product is divided into several parts. The main body, the leaves, the blush, the mouth and the eyes. Let's start with the main body. We'll begin with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise by joining with a slip stitch. We need to add fiberfill while crocheting. Before starting, let's take a look at the chart. Our ND+ number indicates the round number. The increases and decreases explanation column shows the stitch techniques needed for crocheting this round. It also explains any increasing or decreasing. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches after completing all the stitches in this round. The stitches used are X single crochet, B single crochet increase, SL slip stitch, CH chain stitch, T half double crochet, and a single crochet decrease. Watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method to make it easier for you to see clearly. I'll use different yarn for this demonstration. Colors are random. For specific yarn, color scheme and hook size, please refer to the product detail page and printed pattern instructions. The original yarn may make the first 2 rounds difficult to see the stitches clearly. Here I'll first demonstrate with other yarn. You can follow along with the video to learn the method, or use other yarn you have at home to practice the stitches. After mastering the corresponding stitches and crocheting method, you can then use the original yarn for crocheting. I'll also demonstrate with the original yarn later, if you have trouble finding the stitches. The chart indicates casting on with a magic ring, which means the cast on method is the magic ring technique. Pick up the yarn tail with your right hand. Wrap it around your left pinky from front to back. Then pass it between your middle finger and index finger. Next, wrap it around your middle finger once from front to back. Don't pull the yarn too tight, otherwise the loop will be difficult to remove. Finally, use your thumb to hold down the crossing point on your middle finger. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Hook the top strand on your middle finger and pull it through. Position the hook above the left side of the yarn. Draw the yarn through directly. This completes the magic ring. Now we'll work the first round. I need to mention something here. Due to the special yarn, your hands might get a bit tired while crocheting. When your hands get tired, you can change your hook holding posture to relieve it. Here I'll teach you 2 holding postures. The first one is like holding a pen. The second one is like this. Place your hand above the crochet hook. Gently hold the crochet hook. On the left-hand side, the little finger is wrapped with yarn. If it's hard to pull during crocheting, loosen the yarn a bit. Use the ring finger and little finger to gently hold the yarn. Then start crocheting. Round 1 is 7 single crochets, 7 SC. The number before the X indicates how many single crochets to work. This means to crochet into the magic ring loop, work 7 single crochets. First, make 1 chain stitch as the turning chain for the single crochet, yarn over, pull the yarn through. 1 chain stitch is completed. This turning chain is not marked in the chart. In actual circular crocheting with a slip stitch, you need to work a turning chain at the beginning of each round. The turning chain for single crochet does not count as a stitch. You can gently tighten it. If you can't pull it tight, you can leave it as is. First, work the first single crochet, pick up the 2 strands above the middle finger and thread through. That is, insert into the magic ring. Yarn over and pull the yarn through. Yarn over again, pull through all the loops on the hook in one go. One single crochet is completed. The braid at the upper right is the stitch. One stitch loop represents one stitch. This is the first stitch of this round. Place one stitch marker on the stitch to mark it. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a safety pin or paperclip instead. To distinguish the first stitch, you can add another marker. Now let's see what it looks like after completing the first single crochet using the original yarn. What kind of effect it creates. After completing one single crochet, run your hand over it. You'll feel two strands lying across the top. These two strands going downward a bit will give you a sense of indentation. Stretch the fabric open with your hand, and you'll see the stitch hole of the single crochet. Place a marker on this stitch hole to mark it. Or you can mark it in advance. Here we took a step back. This is after completing the starting chain. There's a loop on the crochet hook. We pick up the two strands below the hook to mark. Once marked, crochet a single crochet. Then continue crocheting single crochets. Next, work the second stitch. Insert the hook. Yarn over and draw the yarn through. You can make the stitches of the first round slightly loose to avoid difficulty pulling the yarn. When closing the ring later, yarn over again, and draw through the two loops on the hook. This completes the second single crochet. You can place a stitch marker in each stitch of the first round. Continue crocheting the third stitch. Insert into the hole. Yarn over and draw through. Yarn over again, and draw through in once. This completes the third single crochet. Continue crocheting the remaining 4 single crochets. After completing, mark the last single crochet. Count how many single crochets there are. Once the stitch count is correct, now tighten the magic ring loop. Simply pull tight the starting yarn tail, tighten the center of the fabric piece. The loop is now closed. Next, work into the first single crochet stitch of this round, which is the left side marker position. Work 1 slip stitch. Insert. Draw the yarn through. Pull through all the loops on the hook. Slip stitch completed. The joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch. Need to pull tight. The slip stitch is not indicated in the table. In reality, when crocheting around in a circle, you always finish with a slip stitch, and pull it tight. This completes the first round. To make it easier to distinguish, we are working on the side of the fabric that's facing us. Pick any position and place 1 stitch marker to mark. The marked side is the right side of the fabric. The other side is the wrong side. Next, thread the starting yarn tail onto a yarn needle. Weave it through a few stitches on the wrong side to hide it, to prevent the loops from coming undone. Weave it in a few times. Leave the extra yarn tails inside as stuffing. Now let's take a look at how the first round looks when using the original yarn. You can also count the stitches by counting these bumps on the surface. Start counting from the position of the first stitch marker. 1 bump represents 1 stitch. Keep counting until the position of the last stitch. Here there are 7 bumps in total, which means 7 stitches were crocheted. This is how you count stitches. Next, crochet the second round. Our 2 is 7V. The number before the V is how many single crochets you need to crochet in a row with increases. This means to crochet 7 single crochet increases in a row. First, make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Let me emphasize again. When crocheting in rounds with slip stitches, you always start by making a beginning chain. I won't repeat this explanation later on. On the first single crochet stitch of the previous round, make 1 single crochet increase, which means crochet 2 single crochets into the same stitch. One stitch. Remember to mark the first stitch? When continuing with the same yarn, pay attention not to make it too loose, to avoid affecting the finished product's dimensions. Two stitches, single crochet increase completed. You don't need to mark the middle anymore. Continue making one single crochet increase on the left stitch. This round requires 7 single crochet increases in total. Continue crocheting the remaining 5 stitches. After completing the last single crochet increase, don't forget to mark the last stitch. You can check the stitch count. The total number of stitches for each round is listed in the corresponding table. I won't mention it again from now on. Next, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Insert. Draw the yarn through. Draw through all loops on the hook in one go. Slip stitch completed. Pay attention. After completing each round, always join with a slip stitch to the first stitch, and pull tight. Round 2 is now completed. Let's take a look using the original yarn. There's a slightly shaded area just below each stitch. Feel it with your hand, and you'll find the position of each stitch. When crocheting with the original yarn later on, pick through this position. Continue crocheting round 3. R3 is XV times 7. The parentheses indicate a group. Times number indicates how many times to repeat the pattern. Make one beginning chain. Follow the chart and work one single crochet. For each following round, always use a stitch marker to mark the first and last stitch. This won't be repeated again later on. Then work one single crochet increase. One group, XV, is done. I'll demonstrate again. First, work one single crochet into the adjacent stitch on the left side. Then make one single crochet increase into the next stitch. This is the completion of the second sequence. This round needs to repeat XV 7 times for the remaining 5 times. Follow the method of one single crochet and one single crochet increase. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. The third round is completed. When counting rounds, you can count the raised textures. 1, 2, 3. Now a total of 3 rounds have been crocheted. This is the method for counting rounds. Next, let's take a look at the original yarn after crocheting 3 rounds. The surface has these circular raised ridges. When counting the rounds, just count these raised textures. Move on to crochet the fourth round. First, make a chain 1 to begin. Next, follow the chart and make a single crochet in the first stitch on the left. Remember to mark it. Make a single crochet increase in the next stitch. Make a single crochet in the left stitch. One group of stitches is completed. Continue with the second group. Make a single crochet in the left stitch 1 by 1. One single crochet increase. One single crochet. The second group of stitches is completed. After that, repeat this group of stitches. Keep crocheting all the way down to finish this round. Remember to mark the last stitch? Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. The fourth round is completed like this. The effect of this round is a single crochet every 2 stitches. Hook 1 single crochet increase. Now crochet the fifth round. According to the pattern chart, after completing every 3 single crochets, hook 1 single crochet increase. Finally join with a slip stitch. Just follow the chart to finish crocheting. I've already crocheted in advance. Now crochet the 6th round. Make 1 beginning chain. Start from the marker position on the left side, crochet slip stitches in sequence. Pay attention not to tighten the slip stitches here. Before crocheting the first stitch, need to mark in advance. Pick up the 2 strands of yarn below the hook to mark. The marker placed in the 5th round will not be removed for now. Continue picking up the left stitches, work even without increasing or decreasing. Meaning 1 stitch corresponds to 1 stitch. Total stitches remain unchanged. Remember to mark the last stitch as well. Finally, pick up the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Gently tighten. This completes round 6. You can measure the fabric piece here. If the size differs significantly from the chart, It's recommended to adjust your tension and recrochet to avoid affecting the finished product's size. Next, let's crochet round 7. First, take a look at the completed fabric. These 2 strands in front are the braid formed by the slip stitch? The 2 strands at the back are the stitches from round 5. For round 7, you need to pick up the back loop only of the previous round slip stitch. Please make sure not to pick the wrong position. Each slip stitch has 2 strands like this. The one closer to you is the front loop, the one farther from you is the back loop. This round is worked by picking up the back loops like this. No need to chain a beginning chain before starting this round. Simply work a chain stitch as a transition according to the chart. Then pick up the back loop only of the slip stitch, and work 1/2 double crochet. Yarn over 1 round. Insert into the back loop. Draw through with yarn over. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops at once. 1/2 double crochet is now complete. There will still be 1 strand remaining in front of the slip stitch. Next, pick the back loop only of the adjacent slip stitch on the left side, and work 1/2 double crochet, yarn over once. Insert into the corresponding position. Draw through with yarn over. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Another 1/2 double crochet is now complete. The wrong side looks like this. Continue by working a chain stitch as a transition according to the chart. On the left side, pick the back loop and work 1 slip stitch. Remember not to pull it too tight. This completes 1 group of stitches within the brackets in the chart. You'll see individual horizontal bars lying across the front. This is correct. Pay attention, when crocheting, do not work into the stitches of the 5th round. Next, I'll demonstrate another group. First, work 1 chain stitch as a transition. On the left side, pick the back loop and work 2 1/2 double crochets in sequence. After completing, work 1 chain stitch as a transition. On the adjacent back loop to the left, work 1 slip stitch. This completes the second group. Everyone follow the demonstration of the second group and complete this round. The last slip stitch should be worked into the first stitch. If you can't find it, pick any position. This completes the 7th round. Continue to crochet the 8th round. This round is worked into the stitches of the 5th round. Make 1 beginning chain. Pick the first marked stitch of the 5th round, at the back and work 1 single crochet. Because of the previous round, where slip stitches were worked, because of the slip stitches worked in the round, because of the slip stitches worked in the previous round, the marked position will be covered by a thread. Everyone take your time to find the correct position before crocheting. Place a marker to mark it. Continue working 1 single crochet into each stitch on the left side. The marker on the first stitch of the 5th round can now be removed. Work 1 single crochet increase into the next stitch. Work 2 single crochets in sequence on the left side. This completes 1 group of stitches. Next, follow the chart to pick up the stitches from the 5th round, and crochet the corresponding stitch patterns. When crocheting, keep the stitches from the 7th round in front. Once completed, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. This completes the 8th round. Everyone can take a look at the result here. Rounds 9 through 22. All the stitch techniques used have been demonstrated in detail earlier. The meaning of the increases and decreases explanation is similar to before. Just follow the stitch order in the table and crochet accordingly. Where it says to work even, this means 1 stitch to another. After completing, the fabric will naturally curl. Simply turn the right side outwards. Take a look. A raised texture on the front represents 1 round. Don't forget the beginning chain and slip stitch when crocheting. Continue down using the methods learned earlier. Refer to the table and complete this section. During the crocheting process, you may encounter situations where the yarn tail is not long enough, and needs to be joined. Here I'll demonstrate the yarn joining method using a swatch. Joining the yarn at the single crochet position. First, make 1 incomplete single crochet stitch. Insert yarn over and draw through. This completes 1 incomplete single crochet stitch. Place the yarn tail in front. Then take the new yarn. Leave a little tail at the beginning. Hold the yarn with the left hand. Simply press it behind the fabric. Draw the yarn through. Adjust slightly. This completes the single crochet and the color change. Then tie both yarn ends together in a knot to secure. When crocheting later, weave the yarn tails in together. This is the method for joining yarn. If you encounter a knot in the middle of the yarn, Cut off the knot. Then join the yarn using this method. Now let's crochet round 23. Make 1 beginning chain. According to the pattern chart, crochet 5 single crochets in sequence. After completing, the next stitch is a single crochet decrease. First, on the left side on 2 stitches, make 1 incomplete single crochet on each. First crochet the first stitch. Insert. Yarn over and pull through. This completes 1 incomplete single crochet. Continue to crochet the second stitch. Insert into the left stitch. Draw the yarn through. Now there are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Single crochet decrease completed. Follow the chart and crochet 5 single crochets downward. Be mindful not to crochet into the stitches already worked on the single crochet decrease. Once a group of stitches in the chart is completed, continue to the second group. First, crochet 5 single crochets in sequence. After that, crochet 1 single crochet decrease. First, make incomplete single crochets on the left stitch in sequence. After completing, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. Single crochet decrease completed. Crochet 5 single crochets in sequence on the left stitch. This completes the second group of stitches. Continue crocheting the remaining part following the chart. Finish with a slip stitch. This completes round 23. Continue crocheting in rounds for the remaining part using slip stitches. Everyone please follow the chart to crochet. You also need to add stuffing while crocheting. Around the time you finish round 30. Take out the stuffing, fluff it up, and then stuff it in. The stuffing should be full and even. But don't stuff it too tightly, or too hard. Keep the main piece soft. This is the method for stuffing. After this, stuff as you go for the following rounds. Continue crocheting down to finish the remaining part. After completing the last round, we'll now break the yarn. First, crochet 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a 20 cm yarn tail before cutting the yarn. Thread the reserved yarn tail through a yarn needle. Pass it through the front loop of each stitch from the last round one by one. You can gently pull tight as you go. To slowly close up this small hole. Secure any excess tail by passing it through once on the left side. Pass through the center of the closing point once more. Bring the needle out at any position. Gently pull the thread. And press the closing area flat. Tie off any excess yarn tails to secure them. Finally, weave the tails through the fabric a few times to hide them. Then push all the yarn tails into the fabric. This completes the closing process. The main part has also been explained. After completing the main part, next, let's learn the crocheting method for the leaves. Start with a chain stitch. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise along the starting point. After completing, assemble it onto the main part. The new stitch technique used is the F double crochet. Please watch the demonstration. Take the yarn. First make a slip knot. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Hold the hook with your right hand. Insert the hook into the slip knot. Adjust the loop size to a proper position. After completing, follow the stitch count in the chart. First crochet the corresponding number of chains. Before crocheting the chain stitches, mark it. Pick up the thread on the right side of the hook and mark it. After marking, crochet the chain stitch. This way, the first stitch is done, and it's also marked. Continue crocheting following this method. Do not mark the last stitch. This way, the casting on is completed. Next, crochet the first round. From the second, means starting the crochet from the second to last stitch of the foundation chain. Then count back from the hook side. This is the second to last stitch, which is the position marked by the stitch marker. Insert the hook into the second to last chain. Pick up both top threads. Crochet 1 single crochet. Remember to mark the first stitch. Continue picking up both top threads of the left chain, and crochet 2 half double crochets in sequence. The next stitch is a double crochet, yarn over once. Pick up the left chain and insert the hook. Yarn over and draw through. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. There are 2 loops left. Yarn over and pull through both loops. This double crochet is completed. Continue picking up the left chain and crochet 1 double crochet, yarn over once. Insert into the corresponding position. Yarn over and draw through. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat 2 times. Once, twice. This creates another completed double crochet. Work 1 double crochet into the next chain. Work 2 half double crochets sequentially into the left chain. When completed, work 3 single crochets into the last chain stitch. Meaning work 3 single crochets in the same position. One, 2, 3. This completes the 3 single crochets in one stitch. This stitch marker can now be removed. Rotate the piece. Pick up and crochet the remaining single strand of the chain. This is the insertion point for the stitches on this side. Exactly at the marked position with the stitch marker. Work 2 half double crochets sequentially. Be mindful not to insert into the same spot as the previous 3 single crochets. Place the beginning yarn tail over the hook. Weave in the ends as you go along. Remove one marker after completing one stitch. Continue with 3 double crochets on the left side. Followed by 2 half double crochets. And finally work 1 single crochet increase. Remember to mark the last stitch? Join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. This completes the first round. Now let's crochet the second round. Follow the chart until completing the fourth single crochet increase. After completing that, next in the table is X2CHX. The here indicates that the stitches in the parentheses are worked into the same position. Work 1 single crochet into the left stitch. Chain 2 as a transition. We'll mark these 2 chain stitches. In the same insertion position as the previous single crochet, work another single crochet. Mark this single crochet as well. After completing that, work 1 single crochet increase into the left stitch. The following stitches have been demonstrated before. Just follow the pattern chart to crochet. Finish with a slip stitch join. This completes round 2. Continue to crochet round 3. First, work the corresponding number of single crochets according to the pattern chart. After completing that, work 1 single crochet into the marked position on the left side. CH1 picket, chain 1 picket, which means first chain 1. Then pick up the front loop of the single crochet and connect with a slip stitch to the 1 thread on the left side. Meaning pick these 2 threads to crochet. If you can't find them, just pick any few threads. After completing that, work 1 more single crochet into the same marked position. Work 1 single crochet into the marked position on the left side. Then work even single crochets without increasing or decreasing, all the way around to finish this round. Finally, finish with a slip stitch join. At the end, chain 1 to secure. Leave a 40 cm yarn tail and cut the yarn. This way 1 leaf is completed. Follow this method. Refer to the chart to finish the remaining leaves. After completing all the leaves, take the main piece. Place it on the last few rounds of the main piece. Not on the beginning position. Distribute the leaves evenly. Thread the reserved yarn into the yarn needle. Pick up a few threads on the wrong side of the leaf. And sew it to a few threads on the surface of the main piece. Pay attention that the leaf is only sewn on this side. After completing, tie off and weave in the ends. Hide the yarn tail inside the main piece. This is how to sew one leaf. Sew the remaining leaves in the same way. That's all for the leaves. Next, let's talk about the remaining part. The crocheting method for the blush is similar to the main piece. Both start with a magic ring, crocheting in rounds counterclockwise. Everyone can follow the previous yarn identification method, and the chart to crochet. Here I will first explain this special yarn. If you encounter a single crochet stitch, we can mark in advance. Insert the hook from below the 2 threads underneath the hook and mark them. Then proceed with the crochet. Or you can also do it like this. When making the last yarn over, pick up the 2 threads underneath the hook from the right side and mark them. As you crochet more rounds, you'll roughly be able to see a shadow like this while crocheting. Meaning you pick up the stitch by going through the shadow like this. If you still can't tell clearly, place 1 stitch marker every few stitches. That's all for identifying this yarn and the parts to pay attention to while crocheting. If you encounter a situation where your hands are too tight, causing the fuzzy fibers on the yarn to separate. After tightening, and it won't spring back, use a yarn needle to loosen up the beginning part here. Place this section behind. Hold it down with your left middle finger. Then yarn over. And this kind of situation is solved. The mouth is simply crocheted with chain stitches. Both the beginning and end need to leave a 1/5 cm yarn tail, and no need to place a stitch marker for marking. The chain length is about 4 cm. The number of chain stitches can be adjusted. The crocheting method for the eyes is similar to that of the leaves. Both start with chain stitches. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise along the foundation chain. The crochet techniques have been demonstrated earlier. Follow the pattern chart to crochet the blush, mouth and eye pieces. Once the pieces are done, proceed with the assembly. First, take the blush piece, place it on the main body, with the wrong side facing up. Position it at the 7th round, to the 10.5 round. Leave 6-7 stitches between the two blush pieces. Next, use a sample to demonstrate the sewing method. The number of rounds in the swatch is not for reference, only the technique is demonstrated. Thread the reserved yarn tail through the yarn needle. Use a whip stitch to sew it. That means go over one stitch and under the next. Keep the stitches on the right side short, to avoid an uneven look on the surface. If there's a little puff in the middle, run the yarn through the center to tighten it. Press the blush flat. Finally, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Hide all the yarn tails into the fabric. That's all for the sewing method of the blush. Next, take the mouth and place it between the blushes. Position it between the 7th and 11th rounds, shaping it into a V shape. Here I'll use this small swatch to demonstrate the sewing method. Thread both ends of the yarn into the main body. Draw them out through the same stitch. Tie a knot to secure it in place. Take half of the yarn and thread it into the needle. Secure the folded chain stitch underneath. Finally, tie a knot and secure the yarn tails. This completes the mouth sewing. Apply a bit of glue on the chain stitch. And stick it onto the main piece. Adjust the shape of the mouth slightly. Once done, take the eyes. Right side facing up. Place them between the blushes. Position them slightly higher than the blushes. About 0.5 centimeters away from the blushes. Place them vertically. Sew them on using the same method as the blushes. That's how to attach the eyes. Next, cut one 50 centimeter long strand of cream-colored yarn. The color here is random. Thread the sewing needle. Position it 2 rounds above the right blush. Embroider line segments. The length of the line segments can be based on the sample image. Each line segment is embroidered twice. You can also embroider according to your own preference. Finally, weave in the ends. Up to this point, the entire product has been fully explained. If you have any unclear steps during the crocheting process, feel free to reach out to our customer service. Don't hesitate to contact our customer service. Susan's family, one stitch at a time, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.